right, I'm just going to call it out at the top of this video. I think there is a split in how Liverpool are being analysed right now. There are people who are really positive about Liverpool and people who are watching through a kind of, hey, this is where they're going lens. And then there are people who are neutral about, I don't think they're unconvinced, I just think they're neutral about Liverpool, and they're still watching through maybe a bit of a Klopp lens and maybe a bit of a, oh, I don't quite know where this team is because I've got a couple of preconceptions that I can't quite get rid of ideas. And as we go into the Wolves game this weekend, it's hard to know which one to analyse it through. And believe me, I read all the comments. There are so many comments on the channel about where you think the club is at, where you think Slot's at, where you think the team is at, where you think individual players are at. And all these different things seem to contribute to people's overall idea of where Liverpool are at. They try to make it fit just one narrative. It's just one idea of the club. It's either good or it's bad. So we're either going to beat Wolves or Wolves are going to frustrate us like they did, like Forest did, right? And genuinely, when you think back to the Forest game, I think there are a couple of contributing factors there. Post-international break, Slot's possible naivety about the Premier League. I think maybe he was very much disassociated from that idea immediately after that game, even though he knew they shouldn't have lost that game. Liverpool didn't particularly look engaged. They've had a couple of good wins now. The AC Milan result was a good result. It was a result where they went down early, had to show they can fight through adversity. The Bournemouth result, maybe Bournemouth could have been better. Genuinely, I think they were fine, but Liverpool neutralised them. That's part of what we're not analysing right now. Slot is a great neutraliser of opposition teams, and then he's trying to maximise the Liverpool result. The same with West Ham. So much of the chat I heard around West Ham was, well, if they got a penalty, well, if this had happened, well, if that had happened. Well, we can talk about the VAR would have played a part in that game, but I think a big part of it is Liverpool controlled a lot of that game. But there were still what I felt were quite obvious, or what most people feel are quite obvious weaknesses in the team. But are they weaknesses or are they Liverpool baiting the press? Are they weaknesses or are they Liverpool showing the opposition who have to attack and go somewhere at some point into certain positions? And is it that we still analyse certain things through a Klopp lens and certain things through a Slot lens? So if Liverpool go 1-0 down, and I've seen the funny meme online of like, hey, look pretty good, concede an opposition goal, win 3-1. It's frustrating because I still think Slot has so many layers to go through. There's so much depth left to what Slot can do within this era. But already people are trying to box Liverpool in and there's like, oh, Liverpool are this season. I think his adaptability makes it difficult to analyse pre-game. I think Wolves haven't won against Liverpool in the Premier League quite some time. They've won against them in the FA Cup twice, actually, in a row, weirdly. But they haven't won at Anfield and they haven't won at home for, what, 14 years now? That doesn't mean we should underestimate them. Of course, we underestimated Nottingham Forest to an extent and didn't really turn up in that game. And I'm eager that Liverpool don't do the same in this one. They have some real, I wouldn't say they have real firepower, but I'd say they've got some players that can damage the opposition. And, you know, the game against Chelsea is a classic version of this, right? Chelsea unleashed on Wolves. And most of my analysis after that game was just, yeah, well, you should. You're meant to. But Wolves haven't been particularly good after that. And so the expectation really should be that Liverpool would win against Wolves. I don't think that's an unreasonable expectation. This team are looking to finish in the top 4. We're looking to finish probably even better than just finishing in the top 4. And the expectation should be set. If you want to do that, you've got to beat Wolves. But weirdly, then people sort of go, well, you should be beating them easy because Chelsea beat them easy. You should be beating them like this because Villa did this. They've got, like, you know, Gary O'Neill and those guys, they will want to get entrenched against Liverpool. They want to make it difficult for Liverpool. It's not going to be one of those easy games where it's like, hey, we can beat these guys, so we're going to go out there and try and get out Liverpool. They're going to try and make it as hard as possible. They're going to try and sit deep, break with the Aït-Nouri type guys in the team, with, you know, Lamina in the midfield, the guys who are frustrated, the guys who think they have more quality than they have shown so far this season. And it's going to be frustrating for Liverpool. It's going to be a frustrating game to watch. By the way, join me. I'm going to be streaming live at 5:30 on the weekend. But this side, this Wolves team, I don't think they're bad. I think there's a lot of quality in there. I just think that Liverpool also should be exploiting some of those weaknesses. At centre-back, Liverpool should totally be going at those guys. They should be using Diogo Jota's movement and Luis Diaz out on one wing and Salah on the other to make sure that Nouri, who, you know, is a quality player and at one point has been a Liverpool target, we're going to really test him. Nelson Semedo on the other wing. We should be looking to draw these guys out wide, make sure they don't attack as much as they want to. Andre, of course, previous target of Liverpool, sitting at the base of that midfield. Maybe we'll get a little review of what it is that he would have offered to Liverpool. But that midfield, which is generally very packed because they've got like Cunha in there, they've got Lamina, they've got João Gomez, and I think obviously they're going to try and drop Strand Larsen just a little bit deeper, they'll drop him a little bit deeper and then they'll push him onto Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk, and they'll try and push those guys back. They'll try and get the balls to Cunha and out wide to Bellegarde, I think that's how you say it. And they're going to try and get them in between the fullbacks and the centre-backs. It's obvious how they're going to play. And then they're going to play from a couple of set pieces. It's obvious what they're going to try and do to Liverpool. But what Liverpool are going to try and do to Wolves, I don't think is as obvious. Frustratingly, in the analysis, I think what gets lost in the analysis is the adaptability of Slot. The adaptability and the reading of the game that he brings is so beneficial to Liverpool. But the way that they brief the players, the layers that you can see in his press conferences, the amount of information that he imparts on the team, the key information, the little briefs that he gives and the little things that he notices during the game, it's so key to the way that Liverpool are going to play from now on. It's not the same bombastic football that we've seen before. There's still intensity, there's still these other things, but intensity and all the other great factors that we love about this Liverpool team are not the same as, say, the Klopp factors that we knew before about the intensity and the way that he did it. That intensity is still going to strangle the opposition. That intensity is still going to suffocate them in a way that they probably find difficult to accept. AC Milan just couldn't live with it. Bournemouth, like a lot of people keep saying to me, oh, well, if they'd have scored this, well, guess what? Liverpool was suffocating the opposition. And when you're getting suffocated and you're just swinging, you're just trying to get Liverpool off you and you're trying to damage the opposition, you exhaust yourself. You make it difficult for you to actually do anything. And that's part of it here. This is a game of attrition. Excuse me, I'm still sick. This is a game of attrition for someone like Arne Slot. He knows that scoring early but for AC Milan doesn't mean that Liverpool are going to go and lose 4-0. You don't go, oh, well, they scored one in the first 15, and so in the last 75 minutes, they're going to score 5 more goals because that's 15 more times that. Games don't flow like that, especially not against Liverpool. But what I love about it is we've seen that over time now he's imparting more and more of these ideas onto more and more of the squad, and more of the squad are A, becoming fitter, and B, more capable of doing this stuff. It looks like Alisson's coming back, though even though he's trained with the team, maybe we'll still prefer Kelleher. We'll see. I think having 2 great number ones or having 2 potential number ones in your team massively benefits the side. Personally, I like starting Jota, but I also really appreciate Núñez. I'd love to see Núñez start a couple of these games. I wonder if this is the kind of game for a Núñez to start, and maybe we save a Jota because we've still got quite a few, guess what? Quite a few big games to come, especially if you look at, if I go down to Liverpool matches, what Liverpool have got coming up is an insane schedule. Liverpool have got Wolves, then Bologna, then immediately after that it's Palace, then we've got the international break, sure. But then there's Chelsea, then there's Leipzig, Arsenal, Brighton. Like, these games are going to come thick and fast from here on out. Rotating Jota in and out, making sure that players are going to be fit going into the international break, these kind of things is really important to us. And so seeing during the week that, Curtis Jones could play as part of that double pivot, but also play as part of that 10, was really great for me. I love that we could see that Curtis Jones offered and imparts a certain level of possession and control onto the game. It's really good. It's aggressive. It works really nicely. I'd love to see him rotated with Szoboszlai. While Harvey Elliott's not in the team, I want to see more of Jones in the number 10 position. I think we also saw Chiesa playing that middle type area where Salah was out wide, and then you can see Jota playing as a combination player, Núñez playing as a combination player, Chiesa's kind of being that 10 as well. And it's really fun to watch these players rotate in and out of the side, and Alexis Mac Allister come in and just sit as part of that double pivot. Hey, Tyler Morton comes in. What's happening with him? What we're seeing is, and what we've not acknowledged is, in that Klopp era, a lot of people went, oh, well, Fabinho comes in, and he didn't slot in straight away. They gave him months to be able to get used to that system. Some of these players are only just getting used to the slot system now. And so we're previewing games thinking, well, we're obviously going to play just that same starting 11. I think from that West Ham result on, we're going to see more and more rotation within the team. Sure, I think we see some weak areas. I think the left side of Liverpool at the moment, the left back area, fitness-wise and sometimes application-wise, we need more depth there. Tsimikas, clearly a good player, but there are times where he just gets caught out in a game. Andy Robertson, clearly a fantastic player, but there's times where fitness is left wanting. I think he's still trying to find full fitness and therefore still trying to find maximum mental capacity within a game. There are rumours about Trent Alexander-Arnold. I'll address those on another day. Personally, I think when someone says, oh, he signed a contract in, what month are we in? September, and he can't even speak to anyone until January, I find that slightly bizarre. And of course, there are other rumours the other way. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on those rumours. Wolves offer more of a trip hazard than a test for Liverpool. Liverpool, if they want to show their intent in the league, should be beating Wolves very convincingly. But I know that Wolves are going to sit deep. I know they're going to be entrenched. I know that at the moment they're hurt because even after the last, a couple of weeks ago, Lamina was saying this team needs to find a way out of this. They went on to lose 2 games since then. But this Liverpool side should routinely be going through teams like Wolves. And that's not arrogant to say. That's just, if Liverpool have these aspirations, they have to go through these teams. It's just true. And then obviously next Wednesday, we've got the Bologna game. I'd imagine that we will see Bologna as a bigger test than Wolves. But who knows? I mean, maybe not. Maybe it's the other way around. There'll be some rotation between these 2 games now. And what we have seen is Kelleher and Nunes were the only players that remained between the 2 last games, right? Everything in between that changed. We probably won't see that same level of rotation again between the Bologna game and the Wolves game. Excuse me. Point being, right, we're a fantastic side. There is more depth, and I think more people are realising there's more depth, and a lot more to come from this Slot team as he gets to train more with them, as he gets to spend more time with them, as he gets to show and pick out little tactical moments and nuances for them and go, you're really good at this, you should try this during a game. You're really good at this, you should try this during a game. And Wolves are opportunities to do that. They can dominate this midfield, they can space the fullbacks out, they can drive at those centre-backs, they can test that goalkeeper. Realistically, I think it's also another deep-lying test for Liverpool, but that is just part of the game now in the Premier League. We're going to be frustrated in the same way we were against Forest, and as fans, we need to support in a better way than we did against Forest. It was a frustrating game, sure. That one was at Anfield. This one is, of course, away at Wolves. We don't play them again until, what, February next year? So let's just try and unleash on this team and see how far we can go between now and then. It's not me saying arrogantly we should be beating Wolves because we're a better side or whatever. It's me saying I think this Liverpool team needs to show a level of intent in this Wolves game. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I think rotation is going to be the key from here on out. We've played games Milan, Bournemouth. Yeah, within 8 days we played Milan, Bournemouth, then West Ham. I think West Ham went out there to injure us. I think Milan went out there at times, frustratedly, to injure us. I think Bournemouth less so, but they still played a really physical game. I think what we're going to see is more and more teams attacking Liverpool physically in these coming weeks because it's one of the only ways to knock them off the game. They're so adaptable. It's so Liverpool to be you hear so many great comments. I'm going to put a video up on my Patreon later in the weekend about Arne Slot's early comments and tactics about Liverpool. It's that pass and move idea. That's been Liverpool's ethic since the boot room days, possibly even before that, but since the boot room days. This team are amazing to watch. I really enjoy watching. I don't think they're leave me in awe, but I love watching this side, and they're rejigging, they're reconfiguring. We're changing how we analyse this team at the moment. So let me know, how do you analyse this team? What do you see as, not a weakness, but as where this team can upgrade, where this team is getting better? Will we see Gravenberch again? Or will we see Curtis Jones start again? Will we see Endo start again? I think he probably won't roll the dice that much. We can afford to roll the dice in the cup because if we've got the cup, sure, we got the cup. But I think we probably will see McAllister, Gravenberch, and probably Szoboszlai ahead of that as well. They've had some time to rest. I think we'll see Salah, get a little bit of time. I think we'll see Diaz, sure. I think we'll probably see Jota, and then we'll see the rotations. I'd be interested to see if we start Cody Gakpo over someone like a Diaz, because I know he quite enjoys watching both those guys out in the wing. I think we'll start Robertson, Trent, Verge, Konate. I personally think that we see Kelleher in this one, but let's see on the weekend. Join me 5:30 on the weekend. I'll chat to you guys in that one. Much love. Bye.